Here we go then, guys. Episode number 1 of Combat Conversations, brought to you by the Empower Online Martial Arts Podcast. It's the first time I've done this. I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't really know what I'm doing. I hope my forehead isn't too shiny. But what a way to do it, and what a way to kickstart this series than the MKG Westwood event, running for the last 11 years in memory of the late, great Brendan Westwood, and hosted by the amazing Guro Rick Faye, founder of MKG, full instructor under Guru Dan Inosanto, and just amazing human being. Let's see how it all went down at the weekend. Alright guys, I'm doing it. After years of online interviews and hiding behind a laptop, I have finally hit the road, mic in one hand, gimbal in the other, and a healthy sense of fear of what was about to happen. This is Combat Conversations, and we're kicking off at the legendary MKG Westwood event, and here's Mick Tully.
This is the future of online martial arts. Were you here when I got the Media Man of the Year from Pillage?
I did.
Yeah, do you remember? My wife said that I was she said I was the Caitlyn Jenner of podcasts, because I'd only been doing podcasts for 7 months, and I was like Man of the Year. How are you, Dan? You're looking very good.
Thank you, sir. I'm very good.
So after a 2-minute conversation with Mick Tully, where he tries to get me cancelled before we've even begun with a Caitlyn Jenner joke, it's time to check out the accommodation. And guys, look at this. All that motivation on the wall, how can you not feel inspired? And check out this view at Lilleshall National Sports Centre. What an amazing view to wake up to in the morning. But let's go get ready for training. This is what we were all here for then, guys. Training at the MKG Westwood Camp, hosted by the amazing Guro Rick Faye, founder of the Minnesota Kali Group. So we were ready for a weekend full of JKD, Kali and Muay Thai training. Let's get to it. If you've been around martial arts longer than 10 minutes, you will have heard of Guro Rick. Founder of the world-renowned Minnesota Kali Group, Rick is dedicated to the highest levels of martial arts and individual improvement. He's considered one of the top instructors in the JKD family worldwide, and he's taught civilians and law enforcement around the world for many years. His credentials include a full instructorship in JKD Junfan martial arts and Filipino martial arts under Guru Dan Inosanto. He's a 5th level Silat Guru under Dan Inosanto. He's the regional director for the Thai Boxing Association in the USA. He's an Ajahn or senior instructor in Muay Thai, and he also has instructorships in Wing Chun Kung Fu, as well as combat submission wrestling under Sensei Eric Paulson, among numerous other arts that he has an instructorship in. Kind of a big deal then, I am sure you will agree. An absolute legend, a master of movement, universally respected, and here's me just trying to remember to press record and not film 3 days of my double chin. So in proper MKG style, the warm-up was double stick. There's no intro, no warning, just 2 sticks, 2 hands, and a million ways to bash yourself around the head. It's like trying to pat your head, rub your stomach, juggle flaming torches, and do your taxes all at the same time. Your brain's like, what are we even doing? But hey, that's double stick. They fire up your coordination, your footwork, your timing, and they make your brain work overtime. If you can survive it, you can probably survive anything, including editing this video. One of the things that blows me away about MKG, besides their ability to hit you politely and make it feel like a hug, is the community. Somewhere between all the punching, the kicking, and the legally sanctioned limb twisting, you realise that you're part of something bigger. It's a family. It's a slightly bruised, dysfunctional, sweaty, vodka and beer fueled family, but a family all the same. And that MKG community, it really showed up during those weird lockdown years where classes moved online, instructors became tech support, people trained in their living rooms next to confused pets, and instructors from all over the world jumped in to teach. Guro Rick showed up, Guru Linda showed up, and the dad jokes, they're so bad they might have caused more damage than the actual sparring. And speaking of Guru Linda Ramsey, this camp saw her promoted to level 4 instructor in MKG, one of only a handful of people that Guro Rick has ever promoted to that level, which is amazing. Even if she did spend most of the weekend locking me up like a pretzel and smiling while doing it. So one of the things that I personally love most about the MKG is the variety of training that we get. Over the whole weekend, we looked at double stick, we looked at single stick, we looked at empty hand, and we also touched on some grappling. So there really is something for everybody. But how did the MKG Westwood event start, and why is it such an important event on the MKG calendar? Let's hear from Guro Rick about it.
This was Brendan Westwood's idea.
At that time, I was going from school to school to school to school to school, all over the country, all over the world. Everywhere I went, I was just at a single school. And Brendan said, let's do a central location and get the people to come to us. I, of course, bless you, Brendan, told him right to his face that it wouldn't work. Well, here we are 11 years later, and not only is it working, it's growing. It's wonderful. We're at a new facility here. So his original concept has not only been proven, but expanded on. So the idea is to get people to come to a central location.
So before we dive any deeper and get back to the fun, it's important to talk about why this camp exists and who it's for. This guy on the right, pictured here with Guro Rick and Guru Aaron Davis, is Brendan Westwood, a martial artist, a teacher, a pioneer who helped bring the MKG approach to the UK and Europe. Brendan established the first MKG school in the UK, MKG Bournemouth, back in 1999, and over the next 20 years he didn't just teach martial arts, he built something lasting. He refined the curriculum, he opened doors across Europe, and he laid the foundations for this annual camp that we're all here to enjoy. Brendan's journey started like many with judo at 12 years old, but after a break from martial arts he returned in the early 1990s, training in Wado-ryu karate and eventually discovering JKD, Jeet Kune Do, in 1994, thanks of course to Bruce Lee. That then led him to Corin Sherrod, an instructor under Guru Dan Inosanto, and eventually to Guro Rick Faye himself. After 4 intense days of training in Minneapolis in 1997, Brendan was awarded affiliate instructorship under Guro Rick, who would remain his primary teacher. Over the years, Brendan became Rick's main representative in the UK and Europe and the European director for the Minnesota Kali Group. Sadly, I never got the chance to meet him, but his presence is everywhere at this camp. In the way people train, in the stories they share, in the culture of community, kindness and respect that's built into every session. Despite battling cancer for the last 6 years of his life, Brendan kept building, kept teaching, and kept showing up. He passed away in 2019, but his spirit lives on in every round kick, every conversation, and every moment that we come together to train. And every year, this camp honours his memory, not just with words, but with action, with sweat, with laughter, and the legacy that he left behind. So after a solid first day of training and obviously a highly responsible sampling of the bar's alcohol supplies, we kicked off day 2 with some early morning Tai Chi, led by the ever composed Guru Aaron Davis out on the beautiful grounds of Lilleshall, where the birds were singing, the breeze was gentle, the energy was zen, which unfortunately you can't hear because I managed to record this whole segment with the mic muted. So just imagine the sound of wisdom, serenity, and slight panic as I fumbled with settings mid-form, pretending it was part of the flow. So now that we'd spent the morning centered, calm, spiritually aligned, it was time to throw some hands and smack some pads, respectfully of course. So here's Guro Rick demonstrating some Jun Fan trapping, and I have no idea what's about to happen with the camera, but wait for it in 3, 2, 1. Absolutely no idea what's going on there, but cool. And so, after 3 days of controlled violence, accidental injuries, and being folded up like a deck chair, I thought I'd give my body a break and fire up the mic instead. So here we are, the interviews with students, instructors, and living legend, Mr. Mick Tully, Media Man of the Year 2015. He's also got another claim to fame though, of course. He also once appeared on The Chase. Did he win? No. Did he bring it up 5 times over the weekend? Absolutely. Let's hear what this wild bunch had to say.
Do I have to stand in this messianic pose?
you know, I started coming here with Sifu Larry Hartzell, and he was nice enough to drag me, I was a kid then, and drag me around and teach me the ropes a little bit. And I really took a liking to being in the UK. I like the people, I like the way you guys think, the way things go around here. And I've put an awful lot of time in to this country. I've got a lot of myself invested in here. So I always like to come back to the UK and see how things have grown, how things are doing here. And this art, a lot of people don't know this. This art was not popular when we first brought it here. We, meaning Sifu Larry Hartzell, Guru Dan Inosanto. So Guru Inosanto obviously is the headliner. He's the big show. So he would come in. Sifu Larry was the guy who went to every little location. We went everywhere. We slept on couches. We did, you know, he went everywhere. I watched people not pay him. That happened quite a lot actually at first. People would just say thank you at the end of the seminar and they didn't pay him. And I was the assistant. I didn't realize at that time I was supposed to collect the money. And I didn't do it. So he would make sure he got paid later. But so over the years, I've watched this art grow here to where the UK is ahead of the curve compared to the other parts of the world in these arts. So the average martial artist in the UK is very good. So I enjoy coming here because the martial art level is very high. People are nice. The beer happens to be pretty good. But it's just a really easy place for me to come to. This feels like home.
So this is the 11th year. I remember Brendan, God rest his soul, speaking to me about it. He said, I don't think it'll take off, but can you help out? And yeah, just rallied the troops. Everyone else came together. And now we saw some hard time, you know. I'd like to say a big thank you to Cal Shop for looking after us, but it was like staying in Borstal for a while there, you know. It was like rubber mattresses, I don't know what that was all about, and the food was pretty grim, but the company was amazing. We drank beer, we did great martial arts, hung out with some of my best friends in the world. Yeah, it was great. And now, here we are in Lilleshall, which is where the Olympians train. So yeah, it's like, imagine like Harry Potter. Yeah, it's like Harry Potter without the J.K. Rowling connection. So we don't want to offend anyone. Like, by the way, I still think it's pretty cool.
Westwood Camp. I was here at the beginning. 2015. 10 years. What does it mean to me? It's a group of people all getting together, and originally it was Brendan's little brainchild, and Brendan was a buddy of mine, and yeah, it's just people getting together, having fun, and just enjoying yourself. That's what I like. People who enjoy themselves. Do the Kali, do the martial arts, have fun. That's it. That's all I want to do is have fun.
How many Westwood camps have you been to then, Terry?
This is my first Westwood camp.
Fourth one.
First one.
First one. Sorry. How's it been? How's the experience?
It's been fantastic.
And what brought you here?
Airplane, train and automobile.
How many years have you been coming to the Westwood camp then, Ian?
I think my fourth or fifth year, I think. Maybe 5 years, I think, yeah.
Perfect. And what keeps bringing you back?
The knowledge, the standard of tuition, the camaraderie, drinking wine with you.
How this place came about, I've heard of it before through various contacts and discussions. A couple of people within the MKG family mentioned it. And then last autumn, we spent a lot of time contacting various venues, and this one came out as one of the top anyway. And then I think it's about September time, me and Rachel came up, had a visit, had a chat to the guys, and yeah, we're just like, yeah, this is it. Can't not say yes to this place. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's why we ended up here.
It's a fantastic camp. I absolutely love the people. I love what Guro Rick teaches. He teaches differently in a small group, medium group, and then a large group, and I like to see the differences. They've been in his privates, in his classes, in his seminars, in his camps, and other things, and I like the feeling that he creates inside of this camp with the wonderful people that are here.
If you want to know the truth, it's funny because it's sort of linked into what you're doing here right now. It's like the first camp we ever did, I brought Will Henshaw from Woma TV with me and interviewed a few people, and one of them was Brendan Westwood, and it was like the inaugural camp, and it was just sitting down in there in a room, and I was finding my feet. As you well know yourself, Dan, it's funny because to start doing online content or doing podcasts, the only person that you really got to convince is you, because when you start off, it's like, well, who am I to do this? And you look around. for me, the standout moment is, it's still on YouTube. If you just Google Mick Tilley, Brendan Westwood, Westwood Camp, or it used to be the Calshot Camp in those days. It was just me, Bren, sitting down. I actually knew where Bren was. A lot of people didn't realise this, but Bren was very ill for a very long time. And I've said time and time again about Brendan. First of all, he was a year and a half younger than me, maybe 2 years younger than me. But he was always my senior in martial arts anyway. But he just had a very wise head on him in comparison to me, you know? And I remember knowing that he was facing his mortality, and he hung on for years. And it was so funny because I rewatched it recently, and the stoicism and just the strength that he had. And so for all of the great experiences, to I got to chronicle stuff because it's funny the way you said it off camera. You went, I hope you got a good memory. And it's like, I've got a pretty decent memory, but guess what I've really got? I've got this body of work now that I can look back and go, oh, I miss my friend. Let me see. Yeah, I remember talking to him. And as I said, Brendan was it was one. So I think that, for me, that was the one. Just the fact that we managed to capture a moment in time. And Brendan hoped it would be this, but I don't think he ever knew. Well, Jesus, if you told him we were going to come to Lilleshall, I don't think he would have believed that.
I think my two clubs wouldn't exist without Brendan. He was instrumental in getting me onto the instructor program and then helping me establish 2 schools in my area. So I have 2 MKG schools, which wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Brendan. So yeah, that's my main memory with him. Just a lovely man.
Memory stands out, maybe.
Not really. Oh, there's only one. No, it's got nothing to do with the actual camp. It's just the fact that we had all those big ships going past. One after Queen Elizabeth I, II, and everything. That was a good memory. But nothing really. Just at my age, I forget what I did yesterday. What I did 10 years ago.
Yeah, I've got many that I can tell and some that I can't, Brendan. Don't worry. No, he was always a very decent guy. Yeah, my memories basically revolve around, he was in the hotel business. So he married into the hotel business. His wife Zoe was in the hotel business. So my memories sometimes surround those hotels that they owned. And God, we had so many good times, but one of them, it started with a trip to Manchester. And Brendan was nice enough, he was going to drive me literally from Bournemouth to Manchester one night, which is about 100 hours in the car. So we spent all this time in the car. We get to the hotel, finally set our bags down, and Brendan said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, grab your bag, we're going up the stairs. Because I was big into running the stairs then. And he thought I was kidding. He went, yeah, really, no, what are we going to do? I said, Brendan, grab your bag. And we went up the stairs. I just spoke to his wife, Zoe. She said he still told that story up to the time he passed. He would tell that story about going to Manchester and grab your bags, let's go up the stairs. So I really like Brendan because he wanted to train. You know, he wasn't going to just sit around and talk about martial arts. He wanted to do it. I describe it this way. There was always a time, I'm sure you saw it, Dan, there was always a time in the seminar where all of a sudden you'd hear whap, whap, whap. And you turn around and you go, oh, Brendan's here. Because he was so unassuming looking, but the guy could roll. When he got going, even with the spine problem, even with the other things that he went through, he could really roll. And I really admired him for it. So.
Family vibe, you know.
People, everybody, they keep me coming back.
I think the legacy of the Westwood Camp is family, and the family feel that Brendan definitely had in his gym, and the family feel that Rick has got for the organisation. So me, it's about the family.
MKG is described as a family, and that's not something that I made up. Everywhere I go, people describe this as a family. So these people are here to see each other, to have a once a year kind of get together with the whole family. And that's a part of the attraction to this. Yes, we do great martial arts. There's all kinds of information, and the training level is very high. But it's really about this sense of cohesiveness within the organization.
We're not like in a gay relationship or anything.
Off.
No, it's Dan Holloway, you know, this guy is such a good looking fellow, makes me question my sexuality. No.
Brendan, we miss you, buddy.